Ladies and gentlemen,
the most transformative sport event on earth is about to begin.
Those who are in the stadium are on their feet.
It's just a long, niggly climb.
Because it is desperation now. And there it is!
Gold! What a result! Another remarkable athlete about to write another chapter in Paralympic history.
Bonjour, and welcome to day 2 of the Paris 2024 Paralympics on Keep the Flame Alive, the podcast for fans of the Olympics and Paralympics. I'm your host, Jill Jarris, coming to you from the Hotel du Podcast. Because I forget that we haven't said this where we are, because it's not loud in the places where we've been loud. But I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, Alison Brown. Alison, bonjour. Comment ça va?
Resting against my pillow. It's like the casual podcasting stance. Should probably sit up straighter and get a better, be more professional.
I don't even know what to do with that.
That's okay. Go to follow-up file.
Follow-up file. I forgot to tell you yesterday when we talked about the strict society and the creative gang from the opening ceremonies, right?
Yes.
And then we looked it up in French what those were, because we thought it was bad translations, and it was like Le Strict Society and La Creative Gang. So color me surprised when I'm riding the bus back home from para track cycling yesterday, and as you have seen on the highways, there's nothing but tagging all over the place.
Yes.
So lots of graffiti, some street art. But if you're on a highway and it's got a wall, it's been tagged. Well, I did see a tag that was the evil gang.
Is that almost sounds like a combination of the two, like a splinter group.
And I thought, well, I guess this is just the French touch.
Honestly, the evil gang were the torch dancers. They're going to set you on fire.
Oh, let's begin the baguette, shall we?
What happened?
You know, it has been a great sport day. It has been a tough venue day.
Oh.
So I will start this off with, it rained today.
Yes.
It was rainy and it's chilly. The weather has really changed. People came back from vacation ended, and it's like we're in fall.
And then tomorrow it's going to change back.
Oh, okay. Well, the other day I saw that all next week was going to be sunny, and then I looked at the weather app today, and it's like thunderstorm, cloud. There's no sun coming back.
It's very unpredictable over the next few days. So
yeah. So today I passed Jill. I'm very disgruntled with her. Decided, and I came back up to the room after breakfast.
See, I take some blame for this because I told you it was going to be hot today because that's what my weather app said.
Oh.
You asked me and I said, no, don't take your jacket because it's going to be hot. So that was my fault. You can be angry at past Alison.
So past Jill also went into the room, put something away in the fridge, left the room, halfway down the stairs. Oh, I forgot this. This happened 3 times. So I went back and forth, finally looked out the window and said, oh, it's raining. Take your umbrella, but don't take your coat. You're having an inside day for the most part. I went to sitting volleyball. Then I was going to a couple of archery matches. So I was like, I will not be there long. And then para Taekwondo. That was my day. Inside day. Don't need a jacket. Well, went to sitting volleyball, which is in the Paris North Arena.
Far.
It's a far drive, but it's not bad because the train is right here it's right by our hotel. One train, no transfers. And I think when we were in the other hotel for the Olympics, this was the arena for the boxing preliminaries. And I think when we were in the old hotel, it was just like so hard to get to.
Multiple trains.
Yes. And now it's just one. You do have a very long ride, but that's okay. One train, no transfers. You get off at the station, and there are people going this way, this way, this way. There's a covered walkway that goes directly to the venue. You are right there. It is amazingly close.
Okay, good to know.
Then you won't just hold on to your horses there. there's volunteers helping, guide people through this covered walkway. One looks at me with an accreditation and goes, "Oh, don't go that way. You need to go this other way." And he was right. I know.
That's fantastic.
That was
I don't know
fantastic.
what they have done. Did they train these volunteers over the break, or are they just nicer people?
Well, I think they trained the volunteers because they took away all the signage. Because then what happened was I go in through the media entrance, and then it's like, well, where's the press tribune? Where's the media center? And volunteers were saying, just keep going down, and then you go in. So there's no signage to tell you this as well, that I'm confirming along as I go. So I finally go into the last door, and I see nothing that tells me venue media center this way. Nothing. And I start wandering around like I am wont to do. And I wander up and down. And then I finally ask somebody, where's the media center? And where the media center was where I entered. There is a whole, temporary wall with a door in there.
Oh.
And there's a security person sitting by the door, but there's no signage as to what the door is. So that was the entry to the media center. Then I go into the media center and I get my roster for the first game. And then I leave the media center going back out the door, and now I cannot find signs that say Press Tribune anywhere. And I just went up and saw
Look for the tables.
I looked for the tables. I made my way over there because I didn't have to go back down. I could just scooch over and, wander in throughout the venue to get to the press tables. And then when I went down to the mix zone, I was looking around for how do I get back up here? And what it was that when you go into the unlabeled doors of the press venue, there's a sign right there telling you certain things, but it doesn't tell you Press Tribune this way. You are supposed to turn around and look at the back of the wall.
Of course you are.
And go the direction it says. So that was that frustration. And then, of course, I went down to the mix zone because I wanted to talk to Lora Webster. I only could find the athlete entrance to the mix zone. So I went in the athlete entrance and just hopped the wall because that's
It's a half wall. Don't worry about it.
That's right. So that
Interdeet.
That was Arena North. On the way back, express train. We skipped 6 stops. It was amazing.
Isn't that the best word? That hearing the words express train can be your absolute greatest terror or your greatest relief, depending on where you're going.
It was fantastic. And that meant I got to Archery on time, except for we got to the stop that's closest to our hotel. And I really had do I go back to the hotel and get my coat? But that's a 20-minute adventure in and of itself to get there and get back. And then I thought, well, no, because Matt's scheduled to go on at this time, not realizing that it had rained a good chunk of the day. Because when I was at North, it had stopped raining, and then it started raining on the train back. And I didn't know that it had rained enough to delay Archery a bit. So
Yeah, because you have to look at my info.
Right.
Which is not convenient to do on the fly.
No, it is not. And that's the way it is. That's fine. I'm okay with that. So I get to Archery. Archery is at Invalides. It's a beautiful venue with no shade. So on a rainy, cloudy day, on a cloudy day, that's fine. On a rainy day, you're dealing with Invalides, which is, it must be a park during the regular time. And parks here are a chunk of grass and a lot of dirt paths for you to walk on because you can't walk on the grass in a lot of parks. So the dirt paths have been covered with the temporary walkways. They have the black temporary walkway, which is very sturdy, and then the gray temporary walkway, which is not. And as these are dirt paths, they have ruts in them. And whenever it rains here, I've noticed that it's almost instantaneous flooding. And you don't know, because the walkway is straight, whether or not you're going to step on a rut.
And you will.
And you did. And then all the water that was already gathered there. So my socks and shoes were soaking wet.
Oh, did you
instantly.
fall? Did you fall?
No, I didn't
Oh,
fall.
good.
This is
Okay.
just like you stepped and you went down and then the water came up and covered your shoes and you went, oh, you're kidding me. And then I had to walk through. They don't have track all over everything. So when I had to go to the bathroom, I was walking through dirt and I got my pants all muddy. So now I have it's the choice of, do I wash these pants and hope they dry one day before we leave? Or do I just say, screw it, these pants are done and we still have like 10 days left?
Or you save those pants for when you have to...
Another rainy day?
Another...
I just look like I've been through the ringer already.
Or like when we're watching road race, road race or the marathon, and no one will notice because you're outside and you're going to have walk through dirt paths to get to that too.
No, that's true. That's true. Archery, I did today. You've not been to archery. Archery is a lot of walking back and forth. So when you enter in the back, you have to walk through the whole archery venue, like alongside of it, but you walk basically the length of the archery venue to get to the media center. So I go into the media center because I need to put my stuff down so I can use the bathroom, because we are now in teeny tiny bathroom land, and I know that me and a backpack don't fit very well. So I do that, and then I walk. I want to see where the store is.
The store at the venue. Yes,
because we have learned that there's these really cool shirts that they have with the pictogram on them. And we have learned that for the Olympics, they were in the mega store and then they sold out pretty quickly. And I don't know if they were at some venues.
And they were not at the mega store when I went to visit.
Right. So they're at every venue. And I kind of wanted to see the archery one. And that meant walking back the lane. Not just the venue, or I went to the venue and or walked the length of the venue. I walked the length of the ranking round venue as well, because it was all the way in the front, the one store. And then had to walk all the way back, cut over, walk to the other end of the archery venue to get to the press tribune. It's raining again, so the press tribune seats are wet. Present Jill was grateful that past Jill had hoarded tons of napkins and had them in her backpack, because then I could wipe off a chair.
That's helpful.
And I had my umbrella. And then eventually I just covered myself as best as I could with the plastic tarp that they have.
Right, they put the tarps on the tables, you mean? On the
tables, yeah, for people who are working with computers, so that you can cover everything you've got while it's raining outside. So I sat there with umbrella, backpack, and me and my backpack are sharing a chair because the napkin hoard only goes so long. And we're watching a little bit of archery. We're watching Matt Stutzman, and I'm like, I got to get down to the mix zone. And it took me a while to think where the mix zone might be. Luckily, it's in the same little quadrant that the press tribune is in. So I hustled down there and stayed for quite a while. It was a while for Matt to show up. And that's okay, because things happened that we'll get to. But that was a lot of walking. And then to get out, then I went to Taekwondo, which is in Grand Palais, which meant walking the whole length of the archery venue again to get out and crossing the bridge. And then I was in the Grand Palais. And once I got to the other side of the river, I realized I didn't want to go this way. Because now I'm in between the Grand Palais and the Petit Palais.
Which is the wrong side of the venue.
So I had to walk around the whole venue.
Which is also dirt paths.
Yes. And they're not dirt paths. You're dirt paths until you're mud paths, because people have cut through grass enough and made a little cow path kind of thing. And they're muddy and they're slippery at this point. And there's massive cheering coming out of the Grand Palais. And I am missing something very cool right now.
Well, to be fair, every time you pass the Grand Palais and there's an event going on in there is massive cheering, and it makes you feel so much FOMO.
Right? So I know to go around the back, right? There's no signs anymore. And I don't know if I tried to get in one entrance too soon, because there's still no signs telling me where media is. I just kind of going. And I show up at a gate, which is closed. and there's people on the other side, and I just show my badge, and they're like, yeah, come on in. And they let me in, and I walk through security, and then I'm just in a place. And to one area, again, I'm in the land of forklifts and pallets and just detritus stuff. That's not even good. Like, it's just junk. And I actually walked through part of that going, well, maybe there's an entrance behind there that I could walk into.
Now, has the path, maybe you don't remember, has the pathway itself changed?
I don't know.
Because there was a lot of pallets and construction materials before.
Then maybe not. And it's just they took the sign off. Because I thought, after a while, I thought, maybe I didn't go far enough around the palace. I'm in the back.
Yes.
But I ended up in the area that was the athlete's entrance.
Oh.
And there was an accredited that seemed to be broadcast and the athlete's entrance. And then this whole big detritus pile.
Oh, well, I'm heading over there tomorrow.
And you know this part, and I feel like
I was at the Grand Palais a lot, so
Yeah.
maybe it'll look. Did you ever end up in the room of many doors?
No, I didn't, because I just kind of looked around. I wandered, and then I finally went to security going, like, how do I get in here? And they finally said, well, I didn't go in the athlete. I went into a different door that got me to, I was just like, I see risers. I see seats. I'm going this way. There was a little rope up, but I walked around that, and then I couldn't find the press tribune. And I'm walking in and out of bleachers underneath, and I just can't see block A or block B, and I see tribunes in D. Well, I don't know where D is, so I just kind of keep going around. And I get to an area where they're like, no, this is for broadcast, because I must have been near a mix zone. I'm like, I'm just looking for the press tribune. And I look up. I am on the opposite side of the venue.
Oh, wow.
On the complete opposite side of the venue.
That's hard to do at that venue.
Well, it's not hard. I apparently went in the whole wrong entrance, and all the security people are like, yeah, come on in. And I don't know if it's they see the pins on my lanyard and they want to talk pins with me, or if they've got nothing else to do and they're excited that somebody's coming through, or if they're just toying with me at this point. Because I really
all of the above.
And
I mean, you really I had many problems at Grand Palais.
Yes.
But I gotta tell you, I never ended up on the other side.
I know, and I somehow made it to the press tribune side. I somehow found a staircase. Of course, nothing is labeled anymore. There's only little signs here and there for wheelchair accessible tribune. And there's nothing else that I could find that said press tribune. So I finally just went up and I got to where I was going because I could see it and I could reach it. And then I sat down. And at this point, it's past dinner. And I didn't have any dinner. I didn't have any dinner with me either. I had lunch. I had lunch at a different venue. I had lunch at Sitting Volleyball. I had my lunch that I packed with me. All I have with me is baby carrots, which Past Jill thankfully bought. And I found a couple of things of Nutella that are on our breakfast buffet.
That you had thrown into your bag?
Yes, that I have thrown into my bag at random points. And I found a third one later, thank goodness, because I was going to be down to eating ketchup. So we go to Para Taekwondo, and as I'm walking by the boutiques, I see that they have good pictogram shirts. I'm like, oh, producer Ben, do you want a nice pictogram shirt? And he's like, well, I'd always support the Kwando. And I said, well, I'll see if it's open because I am afraid to leave my seat now because I don't know if I will find it again. Even if it's a press tribune, the press tribune is really easy to find.
Because it's tables.
Yes, but I am scared at this point that even if I have a space at the press tribune, and there's a lot of space there, that I can't leave anything because I won't
never
find it again. And I didn't want to pack up and like go down and miss a match and find no no para Taekwondo cert for
Well,
producer Ben.
I will see what I can do tomorrow.
Okay.
I
Tell me where the entrance is, because there's wheelchair fencing coming up, and I just don't know if I can do
right.
this.
So was the Tribune at least where it was before?
Yes, the Tribune
okay.
was exactly where it was before. I don't know where the Venue Media Center is, because I didn't see any signs for the Venue Media Center, but I was also never on the side of where you came up from the Venue Media Center to go into the Tribune. So that may be where the only signage is.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that the problem really started that I didn't go far enough around the building.
And you didn't go in the media entrance to begin with, and maybe that's the only place where there's signage.
That's my theory at this point. You will tell me tomorrow.
Okay.
What happened. So yeah, it's been, and so I was going, and then when I was in archery, I remembered, past Jill told you don't bring the jacket. They cranked the air conditioning.
At Grand Palais.
Yes. The air conditioning is not super cranked, but it is still on.
It's still the Grand Palais.
And I still had wet feet.
Oh.
I was not a happy camper.
No.
So it was not a pleasant night. So I got grumpy, and then I was hungry, and then I had to get McDonald's again.
Well,
which is somewhat, it was satisfying because it was actually
hearty.
It was something a little that had protein in it. So
you'll be happy to know that you are correct. The grocery store we went to in the Grand Palais is under construction.
The Palais de Congress?
The Palais de Congress, yes.
Oh, thank goodness.
You have not lost your mind. So that was my Baguette adventure today, was I did have to go through the Palais de Congress, and I went downstairs, and you are not losing your mind.
Okay, good. That was freaky. That was really freaky.
It was very strange to be back in the Palais de Congress and how quickly any trace of us is gone.
Did you see the big "We hosted the press"
Yes.
of the world sign? They have a huge poster up that says "We hosted the press of the world,"
and then kicked them out.
Yeah,
and washed every last
that's
element that we were there.
There's a conference there now, a convention there now, so that is what it is.
I felt a little unloved. You couldn't keep some of the signage up. But apparently they can't even keep the signage up in the venues we're still using.
That's true. Well, hey, how about volunteer jobs?
So I spent my day at track cycling. That was the only event I got to today. And I had a choice for myself. One was the red flag man.
I know who you're talking about.
So,
I eyed that job.
So red flag man stands next to the cyclist and he holds up the red flag if they're not ready to go. And then he puts down the red flag. And he's pretty much the last person that can say anything to the cyclist. And my guy did.
Oh.
He was talking. I'm sure some of what he was saying was, are you ready? But he also had some body language that said, like, I think he was telling them good luck.
Oh, nice.
And giving them a little, like, you go get him, tiger. Kind of, which I liked. And then my second one was there's a starting, what would you call that?
Maybe a starting block?
Yes. So there is something that they use to hold the track cycles because they're not exactly, there's no brakes. They're not exactly balanced. And two men, on my side, it was two men, came out and set it up. But there was a third man who just like pulled the wheeled part of it back on a cord. He did not need any physical effort. He just kind of hung out, did his job for 2 seconds, then watched the races. I liked his job too. Because I couldn't do the setup because that was really physical.
Yeah, it was. It was really interesting because the starting block has little levelers, I would say, because the track is banked. So you had to have these levelers that had to be unscrewed enough to make the starting block level. And then, especially when you had the visually impaired cyclists,
the tandems,
both people who were setting up the block had to stand on it so it stayed stable while they started. So there was usually one person standing on it. And I eyed that job too. It was pretty cool. I have to say that.
And you've got an archery job.
I have a choice of two again. So archery, there's something I called cord. So
It sounded like my job with the cord.
The archers warm up in the ranking round field, and there is a pathway for spectators to go down that is in between the field and the place for athletes behind the scenes where they walk unbothered by spectators. So what happens is when a athlete needs to cross the spectator path, they like yell cord, and these guys have ropes and they make a little cord so that they block off the spectator walkway and make a walkway for the athletes.
They do that at swimming as well.
Oh.
So I guess I've never mentioned this. So the where the press tribune is crosses paths with how the athletes get from the pool deck to the mix zone.
Oh.
So when the athletes are coming through, there are two volunteers that pull exactly like that. They pull the cords across so that if any press or any other volunteers are coming through, you are stopped and the athletes get precedence, as they should. And then they release the cords and we go through. So it doesn't happen very often because obviously there's not a ton of swimmers going through.
Mm-hmm.
Probably you saw a lot more action than if it was spectators that had to go through. But so I think that's just traffic control and protecting the athletes.
Yeah. That was a cool job. Then I got to Taekwondo, and I gotta tell you, so I did have a hard time watching Taekwondo. We'll get to that for weird reasons, but I did not have a hard time watching the referees. The referees, it's a team of 4. They changed every bout. And I think it was just like there was a women's crew and a men's crew. So they come out in formation, 2 and 2. There are 3 who are fully in suits and 1 that is in a white shirt and pants. And one of the women, because they're the ones on the mat. And one of the women had a headscarf. And they come out in formation. They all go up onto the mat. They each have kind of like a corner, even though it's like a hexagon. They each take a section of the hexagon. They face inside, face the center. They bow in unison. And then the 3 in suits go to their positions, which are on 3 sides of the mat, 3 corners of the mat. And they sit at a little desk. And I think they help score. I'm not quite exactly sure what happens, because that's on my list to look for. And then the last one stays on the mat. And what I loved is that there was one guy who, I don't know the words that they are saying. I am going to assume they are Korean because it is a Korean-based sport. And that they must have words that signify certain actions. And one guy would just be like, yep, and would say that a lot. And then there was a signal for you're not fighting, the passivity signal, which was they held their arms out in front of them and like kind of knocked their fists together. Like, you got to get fighting. Let's fight now. I
kind of like Mortal Kombat.
Fight. I love that so much. And because they were not putting up with it. We don't have that much time here. You got to be fighting because you're in a fighting sport. And then at the end of the bout, they all get back on the mat and they do a bow and they leave. I just love that. You
love when officials have choreography.
I love officiating. So there you go. You know what else I love?
Money.
I do love money. And I do. I love when our bank account shows that we are solvent. That's to be quite honest. Because we are independent media. And it does take a lot of money to get us here, to bring you this podcast, to bring you a special experience that you can't get anywhere else. And you could go to NBC, but it's going to have an NBC feel. You could go to a newspaper. They're going to have their feel, or the New York Times will make a fancy video. Or you can listen to us.
Tell you about mud and Nutella.
That's right. Scintillating conversation. But we tell you the stuff that really happens here, and we try to be unfeathered and let you have the real feel of what it's like to be in Paris. There are only about 2,000 journalists of our category here. That's not rights-holding broadcasters like NBC. It's 2,000 journalists from around the world. So there's not that many people here. There's not that many people to give you the experience that we are able to give you. But to do that, we need to have financial support. And that comes from people like you. So we would appreciate it if you could, if you're enjoying the show, please send us a little money to show your support of our future endeavors in keeping our flame alive. We're suggesting maybe $20.24 because that's celebrating 2024. You can go to flamealivepod.com/support and find a variety of ways to donate. We've got PayPal, we've got Venmo. If you would like to be an ongoing patron, you could join our Patreon program. The link for that is at flamealivepod.com/support. Or you can also go to patreon.com/flamealivepod. All paid patrons get an exclusive photo every day that you won't get anywhere else. And then if you're at the $5 a month level and up, you will get some exclusive video. I'm looking to do some exclusive audio as well. And some of that's going to be coming because it looks like I'm going to see some team sports tomorrow, which means there are half times.
And it also means there's a lot of table tribune.
Yes. So be looking for more of that. You've had some so far during the Olympics, a little bit in between, and now looking to give you some more content because I've got that stacked up for you. So thank you to everybody who has supported us so far. You've really, it means the world to us, to be quite honest. Sometimes we feel like we're floating out here, but to hear...
And then we get a little notification.
I know. It means so much because it means that we're going to be... If we meet some goals, we will hopefully be able to start preparing to go to Milan Cortina in 2026. And that preparation starts pretty quickly after we get home, to be quite honest. So that helps us any way we can. flamealivepod.com/support. Daily results.
Boccia.
We did have some more boccia tonight. We had men's and women's individual competition in all classes, which meant our Alison Levine was playing again today. She won her match against Ukraine's Konenko 5-3. So that's really good. She is playing in the quarterfinals tomorrow against Lady Chica from
Colombia, I think.
I want to say Colombia. Hold on, I look it up real quick. Colombia, yes.
Look at us paying attention.
Going to move on to Goalball. We had some men's preliminary action today. Brazil beat the U.S. 13-8. Our Callahan Young scored 6 of the team 8 points, which was pretty awesome.
I'm sure he would have taken a win over being the lead scorer, but they're back tomorrow against France.
That is true.
That's going to be wild.
That will be wild, and Callahan loves the crowd. He has said he gets really pumped up by them. He loves it when they're cheering for the other team because it pumps them up to shut them up, which I love. I heard that one of the other journalists who was at Archery had seen Goalball in the morning, and they're like, he is really tall.
Callahan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's very tall.
Really tall, which means he can really stretch out and block. So I'm looking forward to seeing Goalball soon. We also had Iran beating France 12-8. Ukraine beating Japan 9-8. Close. So on the pool standings, on top of the pool A is Brazil with 6 points, and on top of pool B is Ukraine with 6 points. Then in the women's preliminary action, Israel beat Brazil 8-4. Japan beat Canada 2-1.
Defensive struggle.
Right? And then China beat Turkey 7-5. On top of the women's groups, Israel and China are tied with 3 for Group C. And in Group D, Japan is on top with 6 points. Then we had archery.
And you were there
for a tiny bit. I would say a couple hours, but about an hour plus was in the mixed zone, so I was kind of watching on a screen. So that was a bummer. And the bummer about that was when I was in the mixed zone proper, because it took me a while to find the right spot in the mixed zone. I was by people waiting for a Team Japan guy to come. And there were some volunteers helping that person. And they were like, hey, Jackie Chan's here.
What?
He's on the other side of the scoring hut. You can't see him.
Jackie Chan is everywhere.
Yes, Jackie Chan was there. This will be on some audio. I've got some audio with Matt Stutzman, and he'll tell the full story. But basically, he got an email from our Craig Spence saying, hey, you want to meet Jackie Chan? Basically. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And, because he's like, yeah, right. Stutzman is a huge Jackie Chan fan.
Oh.
Jackie Chan is a huge Matt Stutzman fan.
Oh, no way.
Yes. So after Matt Stutzman's match, we're in the mixed zone. But he has a meet and greet with Jackie Chan.
That's amazing.
And World Archery has posted pictures. I've seen them on Facebook, so maybe I can share them in the group. But of the two of them talking and signing archery targets for each other and that kind of thing. It's really, really special. So that is really cool. And Matt was pretty blown away by the whole experience. So that was really cool. If that's fine.
Could not happen to a better guy.
Right. So I was there for the part of the match before Matt's match. He competed in the men's compound open against Victor Sardina Viveros, who was ranked ahead of Matt. Matt finished the ranking round at 19th. The reason why he was so bad was that there was something wrong with his release on his bow. So he couldn't do anything to it until it was halftime. Basically, they have a break halfway through the ranking round so that you can...
Yeah, because they only have a certain amount of time to shoot,
Yes.
so you can't go fiddling.
Yes. Can't fiddle, no. So he had to wait till break. He fixed it and then did so much better. And he's like, the last time I broke my release, I won the whole... it was a big championship thing.
And that's so Matt Stutzman to not be thrown by... He's been doing this a very long time.
Yeah.
So he's going to stay calm and not let that throw him.
Yeah, exactly. And he is all about having fun. This match was... So Victor was actually ranked ahead of Matt. But I think because of the release thing, that the rankings sound bad, but there's not that many points separating like 1 through 15. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that plays out in the brackets further on. First time in Paralympic history, 2 armless archers met in a match.
Really?
Yes.
I remember a couple years ago, there was a second armless archer that Matt competed against. It must have been the World Championships.
Yeah, different meet. It wasn't Paralympic. Yeah. So now there might be like 5 of them. He says this. He talks about this in the tape too.
They're all his babies, basically.
Yes. And just the fact that there are so many more of them, even though the number sounds low. The fact that these athletes are finding archery, and
there's a woman as
changing.
well.
Yes, there is a woman from India. He talked about her, and it's really cool. And he says, when you look towards LA, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. And he's really excited to help other armless people find the sport, obviously. So that was really cool. I believe he got like 5 perfect 10s in a row.
Of course he did.
Yeah. So perfect first end. Then just kind of kept the momentum going all the way through. He was having fun. You could tell he was just relaxed. He was happy, and he's just like so happy to be there, happy to be doing what he's doing. He loves shooting archery. He keeps saying this is his last one.
And
his coach keeps saying we'll take a break and then maybe come back for LA. Because I think, to have that.
to walk away from LA
It's hard.
that's a tough.
It's hard.
I mean, especially for someone like Matt Stutzman, who's been so central to the movement in the United States.
Yeah.
To not compete in LA, or at least not try to compete in LA, feels wrong. But on the other hand, I could totally see him retiring from competition and being so important to those LA Paralympics on the other side.
Yes. Yeah, because he does want to help grow the movement and give that time. He also has some hip issues, and he needs his hips.
He's not 21 anymore.
Nope, that's true. And he does drag racing, as we've talked about. So we'll see. I could see a little percentage of possibility that he does take a 3-year break or something like that, or 2.5-year break,
And then see where he
comes
is.
back. Yeah, if he's physically, mentally, where he is at with drag racing, that kind of thing. So we'll see. But he looked great. He sounded great. He sounded so happy. There were some other great matches. After him was Jere Forsberg from Finland. That's who's meeting up next because Jere won his matchup. There was I'm going to look this up. A gentleman from Australia who almost had a perfect game. We talked about it in the Facebook group. And Jonathan Milne. Jonathan Milne from Australia almost had a perfect game. And he said in the mixed zone, he talked about how the placement of the bow when he drew back, where that string was on his face, he had been trying to train himself to have a different placement. And he did that for most of the match. And then it kind of slid back to where it used to be, and that made the difference. I will say it rained. Matt had to compete in the rain. It would stop. Then it rained harder. Then it didn't rain. Matt didn't have much wind, and then the wind picked up, and it swirled around a lot. So it was a tough day for archers. Did find out that it was a great day for photographers. They love the rain because the gray sky makes the arrow stand out a little bit more. The rain makes it stand out a bit more. You have beads of water dripping off the string, off the arrows. It's just, they get better pictures. And there's a camera now that will do 130 frames a second, where most of them will do 30 to 40. So you can get the perfect picture just because of technology, but you just have to do the work to go through all the pictures to find it. That was cool. So yeah, Matt will compete again in a couple of days. He's looking good. He's sounding good.
I'm hoping to get there on Sunday.
Excellent.
For that next round.
Excellent. But it was fun. I do love the archery venue is really beautiful. The competition has been great. And it's just that's been a fun one to go to, both Olympic and Paralympic. So good on you. Great venue choice, I will say. Para-athletics. We had jumps and throws and track, everything you ever wanted today. Today we had the men's and women's long jump for the T11 class. That's a visually impaired class, the lowest level of vision, so they have a guide assist with them. For the women, gold went to Asila Mirzayarova from Uzbekistan, who got a Paralympic record, breaking the record set
in Atlanta. 1996.
That is amazing. That record stood for so long.
You know, there are so few track and field records that stand more than 2 games on both the Paralympic and the Olympic side. So when you see something like this, I said, that can't be right. That's got to be a typo. No typo. So good on her.
Silver went to Zhou Guogua from China, and bronze went to Alba Garcia Falagan from Spain. For the men, gold went to Di Dongdong from China, who set a world record. Silver went to Chen Shichang from China, and bronze went to Juan Munar Martinez from Spain, who got a personal best. In throws, we had women's shot put F41 class. It's a short stature class. Gold went to Rawa Talili from Tunisia, who got a season's best, which is always nice. Silver went to Kabaro Kakimova from Uzbekistan. And bronze went to Antonella Ruiz from Argentina. Women's discus throw in the F55 class. So this is a sitting class that's high levels of impairment or loss of lower limbs. Gold went to Erica Maria Castano Salazar from Colombia. Silver went to Dong Feisha from China. And bronze went to Rosa Maria Guerrero Caceres from Mexico. In the women's club throw, it's a F32 class, which is a seated class for high impairment in the trunk and legs and arms or affected arms and hands. Gold went to Rosa Kosakowska from Poland, who set a world record, 31.30 meters. Silver went to Mara Ibrahimi from Tunisia, and bronze went to Parastu Habibi from Iran. In the men's javelin throw F38 class, which is a low degree of mobility or coordination impairment, gold went to Jose Gregorio Lemos Rivas from Colombia, who set a world record.
All these world records in the rain.
Yeah, it was a really rainy. It must have been not a fun day at the Stade de France.
And yet, it was a very fun day at the Stade de France.
Exactly. And then we had a couple of seasons best for silver and bronze. Vladislav Bilya from Ukraine won silver, and bronze went to An Dongguan from China. And in the men's shot put F37 class, which is a one-sided impairment, gold went to Kudratilokhan Maruflageva from Uzbekistan, who got a personal best today. Silver went to Ahmed Ben Mosla from Tunisia, and bronze went to Toliboy Yuldashev from Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan is doing quite well.
Then we have men's shot put F55 sitting class, which is a high level of impairment, absence of lower limbs. Gold went to Ruzdi from Bulgaria. Silver went to Nebojsa Duric from Serbia, and bronze went to Lech Stoltman from Poland. Then we moved to the track.
Slippery track.
Must have been. The women's 100 meter T35 class, which is moderate impairment of legs, maybe some impairment in the upper body. Gold went to Zhao Jia from China with the season's best. Silver went to Guo Qiangchang from China with a personal best. And bronze went to Preeti Pal from India with and also who got a personal best. Then we moved to the women's 200 meter T37 class, which is modern impairment on one side. Gold went to Wen Xiaoyan from China with a Paralympic record. Sylvia went to Natalia Kobar from Ukraine. And bronze went to Zhang Fenfen from China. Staying with the T37 class, but moving over to the men's 100 meters, gold went to Ricardo Gomez de Mendonoca from Brazil, who got a season's best. Silver went to Saptiogo Purnamo from Indonesia, and bronze went to Andre Viodvin from neutral Paralympic athletes. And then men also had a 100-meter race in the T47 class, which is low to moderate impairment in one arm or absence of a hand. Gold went to Patricio Ferreira dos Santos from Brazil. Silver went to Corbin Best from USA, who got a personal best today. And then bronze went to Imeni El Hadoui from Morocco. We also had men's 400 class. We had a wheelchair class today.
T52.
T52. Gold went to Maxime Karabin from Belgium. Silver went to Sato Tomoki from Japan. And bronze went to Ito Tomoya from Japan. And in the men's 5,000 meter T11 class, which is a visually impaired class that uses a guide runner, gold went to Julio Cesar Agrippino dos Santos, from Brazil, who got a world record today. Then silver went to Karasawa Kenya from Japan, and bronze went to Yeltsin Jacques from Brazil, who got a personal best. Very nice. A lot of good days for people on the track.
Considering how poor the conditions were, that was some remarkable results.
Right.
World records and personal best and season's best.
Love it. We did have para badminton action. There's group play going on for men's, women's, singles, and then also doubles in a variety of classes. That because it's group play, it's really hard to report. So we will have standings when they get more towards the knockout rounds. In paracycling track, this was you.
This is me. I ended up spending the entire day here. So I went in the morning to see the qualifying rounds, and Samantha Bosco made it into the bronze medal race we'll get to that race in a second. And so I ended up just staying, seeing everybody.
Okay. What did you think of the venue? And could you find your way in?
I found my way in. I had lovely volunteers who practically walked me to my seat. They wanted to escort me to the venue media center, escorted me to the mix zone. It was fantastic. The venue is fantastic.
Isn't it beautiful?
What a beautiful venue. Easy to find, very far away.
Yeah, it's far, but not too bad. I thought it wasn't too bad. It was a nice bus ride.
It was a nice bus ride. It was simple. And I saw the BMX venue. So sad when I saw that BMX venue that I hadn't gotten out there, because that looked like it would have been amazing. Well, you went out there to be able to sit there, and they were right next to each other. So that's great that they're going to have that training facility for just if you cycle outside, if you cycle inside, if you BMX, if you track, you're here.
Right. And they have a hotel right there. They have these restaurants right there. It's not a bad place to like go and train for a while.
And not isolated. I didn't feel like I was in the middle of nowhere, which we've been at some venues. I'm looking at you, Beijing. So the crowd, I know you talked about the crowd being very subdued. I think they were just hot.
Could have been.
Because anytime I had a lot of chance, because I was there for so long, to talk to a lot of people. A lot of T-shirts. A lot of T-shirts with whoever their writer was. And there's a lot of British writers, so there was a lot of Brits there. Because as they tell me, it's so close, it's like a home game. But more importantly, they speak English. So we can have chit-chat. And they were all so excited. They all talked about the energy in the venue. And I said, I think it's just not a raucous sport. Or maybe normally it is, but in this situation, they're enthusiastic and the vibe is good and the energy is good. The volume is marginal.
That's a good way to say it, because it was a different volume for the Olympics. And maybe because of the types of races that they do for Paralympics, where it's a lot of time trials, there's not a lot of there's one-on-ones, but they start on opposite ends of the track. So the kind of excitement you get is when one can pass another.
Right, which only because then you're basically lapping the person, and that doesn't happen too frequently. People were very enthusiastic, and there were, again, the world records falling. What I thought was interesting, and you had the same experience yesterday, the world records, fall in the qualifying, not in the medal rounds. And I'm wondering if that's because they don't quite realize how fast this track is going to be. And so they're going guns blazing out in qualifying and then realizing, oh, wait a second, I burnt myself out a little bit.
That could be, or there's only so many qualifying spots. I have to get one.
Right.
I felt that kind of energy off of some of these races where it was just like, there's not much room there. There's only 4 spots sometimes. I got to go fast.
Brigitte Macron was there.
Ooh.
So I happened to be waiting for the bus when she and her car were leaving. So there was all.
This is me thinking that Brigitte's going to take the bus with you.
I don't think Brigitte has ever taken a bus in her life. But so the entire traffic stopped. That was one of the reasons it took me so long to get back, because for a good 15 minutes, they stopped all the traffic. And then all that traffic had to unwind. So our bus was a very long time coming up. Did you see medal races at all at the velodrome?
No, because when Samantha didn't qualify,
But even at the
to-
Olympics?
Yes.
Okay. Did they shoot off firecrackers when somebody won a medal?
No.
So every time the medal winner crossed the finish line, a firecracker went off.
Huh.
The first 2 times, I thought everybody in the tribune was going to go under the table. Like, it was really frightening. You hear that sound, and our brains are very attuned to be afraid of that sound. So then we realized what was happening, and it was...
That's interesting. And you know what I didn't hear this time? And I don't remember now that I think about it. The shooting gun, the starting gun being a real gun, because it was a real gun for track cycling in the Olympics, but it wasn't a gun.
No, it was a beep, 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 beep.
That's right.
It was a
It was
beeper.
a beeper.
So it had 4 or 5 setup beeps and then the go beep. So there was no gun, but there was a real bell for the bell lap.
Yes. And there were 2 bells because you started on 2 sides, which made me happy.
I think there was only 1 bell.
Oh, it depended on, I think, if you had people starting on 2 sides, they each had their own bell.
Oh, maybe because so many, honestly, these races were pretty close.
Okay.
I think there was only 2 races I saw the entire day where somebody lapped the other rider.
Because they had their own bell and they had their own sign that told them how many laps they were doing.
Yes, I saw the sign, but the bell, I didn't notice separate bells, but honestly, it might not have been so different that I would have taken note of that.
And you have one on the opposite end of the track, which may be covered up by noise for you.
Yeah, that's true. Because I couldn't tell. But it was fun being able to see all the action in the center. That was very busy in there.
It was.
Okay, so first we started out with the men's C4 and 5,000 meter time trial. This is the highest level of coordination. Gold went to Corey Bodington from Australia, silver to Blaine Hunt of Great Britain, and bronze to Alfonso Cabello Llamas from Spain. Then it was the men's C2 3,000 meter individual pursuit. This is low impairment all over one side or an absence of limbs. This was fun in the prelims. First, Matthew Robertson from Great Britain breaks his Paralympic record. Then Ewan Romont from Belgium in the next pair breaks the record. And then Alexander Lutti says, "Oh, that's cute," comes in, breaks their world record in the next pair by 1.5 seconds. And that ended up being your podium. So gold went to Alexander Lutti from France, silver to Ewan Romont from Belgium, and bronze to Matthew Robertson from Great Britain. This was the best podium reaction because, of course, you've got a Frenchman on the podium. Crowd goes wild. He's very young. He's about 22 or 23, and he's just this kid with this goofy floppy curls and puts his glasses on when he gets off. He was in tears doing his victory lap after the race, and the crowd, of course, reacted to that. And then he finally gets on the podium and reacts, and the coach reacts, and it was a lot of fun. It's always fun when a Frenchman wins in Paris, but he looks like such a good kid with his goofy hair. Then you had the men's C3 3,000 meter individual pursuit. This is a low impairment all over, greater impairment in the hips, or the absence of 2 limbs. Yet again, we have 2 people going back and forth with the new world record, 2 Brits. Finley Graham sets a new world record. And then in the next pair, Jaco van Goes, who is the Tokyo gold medalist, says, "Oh, excuse me, that's mine," and takes it back by 2 seconds.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. And yes, Jaco gets to take another gold. So he's a repeat medalist. So gold goes to Great Britain's Jaco van Gas, silver to Great Britain's Finley Graham, and bronze to Alexander Hayward of Canada. Then we get into the women visually impaired. So this is the B1000 meter time trial. These are the tandem bikes. And those are big bikes.
They are big bikes.
I don't know why I didn't think of it. Because it's not like you'll see tandem bikes just riding around. Mm-hmm. This is not that.
No.
These are very long and straight.
Yes.
And
did
then
you have multiple... Did you have a Ghana situation or what?
No.
Right. Okay.
No, there was no... These racers were all very well equipped, very well prepared, had teams with them. There was nobody that was an outlier in terms of that. So gold went to Elizabeth Jordan of Great Britain with her pilot Danielle Kane. Silver to Jessica Gallagher from Australia with her pilot Caitlin Ward. And bronze to Sophie Unwin, also of Great Britain, with pilot Jenny Hole. Then we get to the women's C4 3,000 meter individual pursuit. This was Samantha Bosco's race. She qualified for the finals. She finished in 4th. Oh. I talked to her a little bit in the mix zone. She was disappointed, but so excited, I think, by just being there. She still hasn't lost that. I almost died.
Yeah, she had such a bad accident.
Such a horrific accident. And every moment of this is thrilling for her. And she mentioned, actually, after I turned off the recording and we were getting ready to leave, she kept talking. So that was my journalist error. And she was talking about how in the village she did a baguette baking class, which she had posted the pictures of. And just her nephew had gotten up at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch her race. So she is really, really soaking in this experience, and she's ready for road. So we're ready for her to do so well on the road. More world records. Gold medalist Emmy Petricola from Australia. She got the new world record in qualifying. Anna Taylor from New Zealand won the silver, and Keely Shaw from Canada won bronze.
Nice day.
It was I have to say, and I think this may change what I do the rest of the Paralympics, doing entire sessions I guess I didn't do that too much during the Olympics. I kept bouncing in and out, and it felt more complete. And I think I got a better feel of the venue and a better feel for the event.
Oh, because you did a full...
I did a full day. So, and also... heck of a lot easier with transportation when you're only going one place. So, and also the timing worked out that I didn't get back into town until well after 7. So it was kind of hard to get anywhere at this point. So we'll see what happens tomorrow for Para Taekwondo. I do have a long day there. Evan, I better have a long day. Evan Medell, please. Depending on how he does will depend on how long I stay there.
We had para-rowing today. There was heats for women's and men's single sculls, mixed double sculls, mixed cox 4 in a variety of classes. Para-rowing competition is not that long, so we'll have medals for that coming soon. In para-swimming, we had a whole lot of races today. We start with backstroke, 100-meter backstroke for the S13 class. This is a visually impaired class that's has the ability to see the furthest and has has some peripheral vision issues. So for the men, Ihar Boki from the neutral Paralympic athletes got gold. A silver went to Vladimir Soltnikov from neutral Paralympic athletes, and bronze went to Alex Portal from France. For the women, gold went to Gia Pergolini, silver went to Rosin Rianen from Iran, and bronze went to Carlotta Gili from Italy.
And this is the second gold medal back-to-back for Pergolini.
Very nice. Very nice. For the 100-meter breaststroke, SB8, this is a high overall coordination or use of one leg or arm or partial absence of one limb. For the men, gold went to Andre Kalina from neutral Paralympic athletes. Silver went to Yang Guanlong from China, and bronze went to Carlos Daniel Serrano Zarate from Colombia, who got a Paralympic record for the SB7 class.
Yes, this is a combined class. So they're SB8 and SB7s combined for the Paralympics. So his Paralympic record is specifically for the SB7 class.
For the women's 100-meter breaststroke, same class, gold went to Anastasia Dimitriev from Spain. Silver went to Brock Whiston from Great Britain. And bronze went to Victoria Ischilova from neutral Paralympic athletes. For the 100-meter breaststroke SB9, this is lower body coordination issues or minor limb absence on the lower part of the body. The men had Stefano Raimondi from Italy, won gold. That is a name I remember from Tokyo.
Okay.
We
got to look that one up.
Follow-up file there. Silver went to Hector Denayer from France, and bronze went to Maurice Vettekam from Germany. For the women in the same class, gold went to Chantal Ziederveld from Netherlands. Silver went to Zhang Meng from China, and bronze went to Lisa Kruger from the Netherlands. In the men's 100-meter freestyle S4, this is a high degree of impairment in the trunks, legs, and hands, absence of legs, partial arms. These swimmers get their power from their shoulders, basically. Gold went to Amir Omar Dadadan from Israel. Silver went to Suzuki Takayuki from Japan. Bronze went to Angel de Jesus Camacho Ramirez from Mexico. For the 100-meter freestyle S5 class, this is moderately affected coordination. Same with the lower absence of limbs there. In the men's side, Alexander Komarov from Ukraine won gold. This is the first gold medal for Ukraine. He got a Paralympic record.
Let's just bring it all in there, Alexander.
Oh, I know. Silver went to Guo Jingchen from China, and bronze went to Kirill Polver from neutral Paralympic athletes. So Komarov, this will get you. These stories that they have. He lived in Mariupol and was in the city when the Russian planes bombed. So his house got destroyed. He's lucky he didn't die. Trained for 2 years without his coach. Doesn't live in Ukraine right now. It's a very hard time for him and for his fellow Ukrainians. He was, obviously you're thrilled to win a gold medal, but this for Ukraine means a whole lot more. So he says it's very important for Ukrainians here to win gold medals, to bring some joy to their country and meaning to what their movement is doing back home. So that's tough, but congratulations. For the women's 100-meter freestyle S5, gold went to Tully Carney from Great Britain, silver went to Irina Podia from Ukraine, and bronze went to Monica Bogioni and Tully Carney
from Italy. Gee, what a shocker. From Italy.
Tully Carney has won 2 gold medals in 24 hours.
That's a nice day.
Not a bad thing. But it's interesting because she says, I need to stop questioning myself. There seems to be a little self-confidence issue with, and I think imposter syndrome more than self-confidence.
You hope getting 2 gold medals at the Paralympics would make you feel like, geez, I'm not so bad at this. But I understand. I understand where this comes from.
Yes.
Especially I think for Paralympians who, depending on their disabilities or what has happened to them, are constantly dealing with what they can't do and limitations and things they have to adapt. And then they find this success and world success and international success. And 2 gold medals in 24 hours. And it's look at what you can do. And everybody is respecting you for that.
Mm-hmm. For the 400-meter freestyle, the S11 class, this was a visually impaired class. They wear the blackout goggles and they have the head tappers.
I meant to tell you this yesterday. They really don't tap them on the head.
Oh,
they really tap them between the shoulders.
Oh, okay.
I know, because you always call them head tappers. And they're really not tapping them on the head. And I am so glad because it felt like tapping them on the head was weird. So they're more like back tappers.
All right, back tappers. That's good to know. I don't know when I'll get out to swimming, but
You have all week.
I do have all week, and I love to see a variety of classes. I remember when a few years ago I did some officiating at the Masters Swimming Championships for the U.S., and it was just after the Paralympics because one of the winners was there, and it was fun to see him swim. Really, really fun. So I'm looking forward to getting out to swimming. Back to 400 meter freestyle, S11 class. Gold for the men went to David Kratochvil from Czechia. Silver went to Roger Dorsman from Netherlands, and bronze went to Tomita Yuchu from Japan. For the women, gold went to Lisette Brunsma from Netherlands. Silver went to Zheng Xiaotong from China, and bronze went to Daria Lukianenko from Neutral Paralympic Athletes. For the 200 meter individual medley SM6 class, this is what we tend to call a hodgepodge class because coordination affected on one side, could be high degree in legs, could be people with short stature, it could be an absence of limbs.
So these hodgepodge classes, I just want to mention this. The point of the hodgepodge classes is one, they don't fit anyplace else, and two, the idea is these disabilities affect their ability to create power in the water in a similar fashion. So it may not look similar to us, but according to the exercise scientists, it works the same in the pool.
Yes. So for the men, gold went to Yang Hong from China, who set a world record today. Silver went to Nelson Crispin Corzo from Colombia.
That's a name we definitely know from Tokyo.
Yeah. Welcome back, Nelson Crispin Corzo. And bronze went to Alison Henrique Glock from Brazil. And Yang Hong is a 3-time Paralympian, but first-time gold medalist. So that is really exciting.
Yeah, first gold medal, break a world record. It's just a normal Friday.
In the women's 200 meter IM same class, gold went to Maisie Summers Newton from Great Britain. Silver went to Ellie Marks from the U.S., who is in the U.S. Army's World Class Athlete program, which we learned about through reading Joanna Garton's book All in Stride earlier this year. So that's cool to see the World Class Athlete program taking some prominence there. And then China's Liu Daomin won the bronze. And then we had the mixed 4x50 meter freestyle 20 points relay. This is a combined classification. Numbers cannot be more than 20 points across your entire relay team. Gold went to China, setting a world record, which is 4 seconds faster than the silver medal. This was a big lead. 4 seconds is a lot in the pool.
That's a lifetime.
Silver went to USA and bronze went to Brazil. Moving over to para table tennis, we had a doubles day. So we had many wheelchair classes, some standing classes, and then we did quarterfinals. We did some semifinals. Semifinal losers get bronze medals. That's how this tournament works out. So we end up having a final for silver and gold. And then in the semifinals, whoever loses gets bronze. So we have 2 bronze medalists. And for the women's doubles WD14 class, that's a standing class with more mobility and coordination. Gold went to Huang Wenjian and Qi Yu Cheng from China. Silver went to Stephanie Greba and Juliana Wolf from Germany. And bronzes went to Felicity Picard and Bly Twomey from Great Britain, as well as Aida Husikdalen and Meredith Tvetten from Norway. In the women's doubles WD5 wheelchair class, the gold medal went to Seo Soo-young and Yoon Chi-yu from Korea. Silver went to Liu Qing and Shui Wan from China. And bronzes went to Katia Oliveira and Joyce Oliveira from Brazil. And Darar Asayut and Chilchi Parak Butwan Sirina from Thailand. And then we had para Taekwondo.
Which you survived, it sounds like.
I got there eventually. I missed a lot. I got into some semifinals and bronze medals and gold medal matches for para taekwondo. I discovered that you really had to focus because
It's fast.
It's so fast, and I'd look away for a second or glance at something else, and then I hear the little drum noise that meant a point got scored or 2 points got scored, and I'd be like, what happened? They had to bring a doctor out for somebody, and I missed what happened to bring the doctor out. It was a hard night for Jill at para taekwondo because I also hadn't been on my computer for a while. So I wanted to try to do a little bit of work. No working getting done.
You can't miss because then the medic comes out and you don't know what happened.
Exactly. So great crowd at para taekwondo.
It's like they get into Grand Palais and people lose their minds.
They do. They really do. They really knew what was going on. That was fun. It's always fun. When I came to Paris, I thought just French tennis fans were exciting. It's every sport. And they know what's going on. So it's not just we need to cheer for the French person, although that helps. But really knowledgeable fans make a good experience for everybody involved. So we first had men's K44, minus 63 kilograms. The gold medal match went into golden score.
Is that like sudden death?
Yeah, sudden death overtime. And I went, we're in golden score. Let me sit back and bam, we're done. And that was it. I'm like, I missed it again. But that was a super exciting match. Mahmut Bosteki from Turkey won gold. Silver went to Bolor Denia Gabat from Mongolia, and bronzes went to Antonio Basolo from Italy and Ayub Adouich from Morocco. We had some trend going on where the gold medalists would bring up the silver medalist, and they both had their flags on the podium together when they're doing their. I know that got me right there. In men's K44, minus 70 kilograms, the gold medal match was really, really, really one-sided, which was tough but exciting. Gold went to Imamadin Khalilov from Azerbaijan. Silver went to Faith Çelik from Turkey. He tried to be done with the match with like 2 seconds to go, basically.
Did he get the fight symbol?
Well, it was 15-2.
Oh.
That was the final score. And he's like, I'm not winning. Let's end this. And the referee was like, no. And I think awarded a point to the Azerbaijani because, like, Çelik took his helmet off and stuff. He was like, I'm done. Like, no, you're not. Point.
They do not play around.
No, they don't. And then the bronzes went to Juan Diego Garcia Lopez from Mexico and Juan Eduardo Zamorano from Argentina. In the women's K44, we're going to start with the minus 57 kilogram class. Gold went to China's Li Yuji. Silver went to Gamze Gordal from Turkey, and bronzes went to Silvia Mayara Cardoso Fernandez from Brazil and Palisha Governdan from Nepal. And then the one that everyone was waiting for is the K44 minus 65 kilograms. Deleika Diallo from France was competing in the gold medal bout, so you can only imagine what the crowd is like at this point.
Are your ears still ringing?
Just about. And the other matchup with her was a Brazilian who also had a presence in the crowd.
There have been so many Brazilian fans. It's been wonderful because the Brazilians have been they did well in the track. They're doing well in swimming. And everywhere they go, they have their fans. And the Brazilian fans are fantastic.
They are. And I don't want to assume, but I would imagine some of the strength of the Brazilian team comes from having hosted.
Can't hurt. You've got facilities.
You've built up some awareness in your country. So hopefully more athletes are getting aware of the Paralympics movement in Brazil, and they're getting access to sport. But sadly, France did not win.
But happily, Brazil did.
Brazil did. Anna Carolina Silva de Mora handily won this. Really handily won this. And she was pretty dominant in the couple of matches I saw her in. Jaleka Diallo from France takes silver, and bronzes went to Lisa Cuillère from Denmark and Christina Kenso from Greece, both with sizable crowd participation. There was a whole big Denmark section.
Well, I hope it was some of the Danes from our opening ceremony.
That would be great.
Because the Danes had a big contingent at swimming last night too. It's not far. This is not a hard trip for them, but just there's a huge group of Danish fans here.
I am here for this.
And they had balloons.
In shooting parasport, we had the women's 10-meter air rifle standing SH1 final. Gold went to Avani Lakhara from India with a Paralympic record. Silver went to Lee Yoon-ri from Korea, and bronze went to Mona Agarwal from India. In the men's 10-meter air pistol SH1 final, gold went to Cho Jung-do from Korea, silver went to Manish Narwal from India, and bronze went to Yang Chao from China. Sadly, our Marco De La Rosa finished 22nd in the qualifiers and did not advance to the finals. And then in the R4 mixed 10-meter air rifle standing SH2 final, which our McKenna Gear is in, gold went to Frančić Gordzad Tirsek from Slovenia. Silver went to Tanguy de la Forest from France. And bronze went to Seo Hunte from Korea. McKenna finished 23rd in qualifiers. Did not advance.
She's got 2 more events.
We're here for that. Sitting volleyball.
Now, who did you end up seeing?
First match of the day, a rematch of the gold medal bout from Tokyo 2020, China versus the U.S. This was amazing. Sitting volleyball is a sport that does anthems, so that was interesting to watch. The stadium is kept pretty dark with the court lit up, and this is also a good. The court was smaller than I thought it would be. I know it's a small court, but it's smaller than I thought it would be. And the venue size is actually pretty good for sitting volleyball. There was maybe half to a little over half full, but they were spread out. So it looked a lot more full than it was. Everyone was ready for monster block, monster block, monster block. And boom, there goes the boom. Oh, it was great.
So they have brought the Olympic volleyball
DJs
songs and DJs
back. They are the hardest working men in announcing right now. They were nonstop. They were fantastic. Everyone was ready with all of the stuff. It was fun. And it just was like, okay, I know it's Friday daytime. And that's probably why people aren't here.
But they brought the boom.
They brought the boom. And I'm sure when France plays, it's going to be packed. So we shall see. And the first up were the women. It was USA versus China. Score sounds bad. China won 3-1. Women won the first bout. US women won the first bout. Then it was close the whole time. So US won 25-21. They lost 20-25, 18-25, 24-26. You felt the momentum shift middle of the second game. And they said afterwards, a lot of them were like, we made errors. We're not worried. We know we have to fix stuff. It's not them as an opponent that we have to worry about. It's our job to fix ourselves. And then somebody else was telling me later, they've never won a pool play game against China.
Oh, how
or
strange.
They haven't won it for years and years and years. So, yeah, but...
And then they've beaten China in the elimination rounds or in the medal rounds.
Yes. So,
it's like they get their jitters out against China.
Yeah, and they said, in a way, it's good to have this game behind them. In a way, it's like, with the hard one first. that makes it tough. But now that's in the rearview mirror, they can adjust a lot of things. They're going to, I believe, play France next or coming up very soon. France is the lowest ranked, and they're pretty low ranked in the world. My guess is that because they're the host, that's when they brought up a team. So it'll be interesting to see how they do there. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun to watch in person. And Lora Webster, near the end of the fourth game, she made this block, and I saw the look on her face from, I'm kind of far away in the
the tribunes are never that close.
And I saw her face say, "We are not losing this game." They did lose the game, but she was determined.
Her face said monster block.
Yes, her face did say monster block. But it was, what a fabulous match. Really evenly played. It just was so good. So good. So I know we're having issues with getting feed access.
Well, originally, the preliminary rounds of the U.S. Women were not going to be shown. That changed. So as far as I know from the reports, Peacock is showing all of the U.S. women's sitting volleyball in the U.S.
That's good.
Let us know if that is not the case.
Then I saw the first men's game with a detour. Of course, I needed to take a little break from the press tribune and wander around. And what did I wander into? Oh, take a photo with the frieze setup, not the stuffed frieze, the big giant stuffed frieze. And I got the foam finger.
Oh, the pink foam finger?
Yes, foam finger and a frieze. What more could you want?
So everywhere we go, the pink foam finger points you where you're supposed to go.
Yes.
And you got to handle a pink foam finger?
I did. And then I bought a Coke.
I'm surprised you didn't smuggle that back here. I'm kind of surprised that pink foam finger isn't propped against the door.
But then I got a Coke and the guy kept going, "Is that all you want?" "Yes, that's all I want." "All you serve is beverages and chips here. What more do you think I need?"
Apparently he thought you had a family that had come with you and you needed 4 Cokes with the little handle case.
But then I popped into Iran and Ukraine a little bit late. I really wanted to see Iran. Because I believe they're the defending gold medalists. They also have a player who is named Morteza Mirajzalikhjani, and he has gigantism, so he is really tall in this sport where being taller in the torso can be a very big advantage, and because you'd also have long arms if they're proportional.
Talk about a monster block.
Yeah, right. He did not play very much. He played in the first game, maybe a little bit of the second, and he sat on the side. Iran is an amazing team to watch. They are sharp. They are coordinated as a team. I can see why they were a gold medalist. They are a team to watch and really looking good. I will say that. Ukraine, not so bad, but it felt like they had not been together as long, or didn't have the ability to practice together as much. Which that could also be the case. I don't know.
I mean, Ukraine certainly is dealing with
a lot of
other issues. So putting a team together, never mind training, is a challenge. And they probably haven't been together as long. I don't remember Ukraine being at Tokyo. So this could be a relatively new grouping, but Iran has been a powerhouse in sitting volleyball for quite a number of cycles. So they know what they're doing.
They had a little bit of momentum, but they couldn't get it together to win a set at all. So Iran won 3-0, 25-13, 25-12, 25-18. So nice, some good crowds again. We had a little Ukrainian contingent. We had a little Irani contingent. Big USA contingent came out. So that was all very, very nice. Little China. But there were people. They
show up and they
right.
Bring the volume.
That's right. Wheelchair basketball. We're ending up with men's preliminary rounds. Spain beat Australia 68-60. Canada beat France 83-68. And then in the women's prelims, Netherlands beat Japan 87-34. U.S. beat Germany 73-44. And China beat Spain 64-38. Got wheelchair rugby.
I did not go.
I know. And I kind of wish you had.
I kind of wish I had too.
Prelim round still. Great Britain beat Denmark 55-53. Japan beat the U.S. 45-42.
You know, I think I didn't say this on the, I can't remember if I said it on the air yesterday or just to you, but I was talking to somebody else at wheelchair rugby yesterday at how even all the teams are. And, you know, everyone's so sure that Australia, Great Britain, Canada, and the U.S. are going to be the semifinals. Don't say that this time, because Japan beat the U.S. And apparently it was a very scrappy match. It was no joke.
And Chuck Aoki, our Shukflastani, led the team with 19 tries. He's got 40 so far for this tournament, and they're going to have their final group match tomorrow. And, well, I will hopefully be there for that. Also in the prelims, Canada beat Germany 54-47, and Australia beat France 55-53. So on top of the pools in Group A is Japan, and then Group B, Great Britain. We had wheelchair tennis got off the ground today as well. First round action for men's singles, women's doubles, and quarterfinal action for quads doubles. And we've got mascots. We've got
guinea pigs, Sunny and Sadie. And every time I look at their picture, it makes me happy. There was a third sibling, Heidzi, who has since crossed the Rainbow Bridge.
Aww.
But Sadie is the youngest of the group. So we have two beautiful little guinea pigs. And special thanks to listener Don for supporting the Kickstarter campaign that got us to Paris and for sharing Sunny and Sadie with us. And
tomorrow, what Shukflastan up to?
We got a lot going on. So Alison Levine moves on to the quarterfinals in women's BC4 Boccia.
Callahan Young and Team USA men's goalball have their next prelim match against France.
We start with para-athletics. Jaden Blackwell runs in the men's T38 100 meters. Oh, and Daniel Rumnichuk races in the men's T54 5,000 meters.
And in the pool, Jessica Long swims in the S8 100 meter backstroke, and Olivia Chambers is back for the S13 400 meter freestyle.
Evan Medell competes in the 80-plus kilogram category of men's para-taekwondo.
Brian Bell and Team USA men's wheelchair basketball plays Netherlands.
And as Jill mentioned, Chuck Aoki and Team USA wheelchair rugby have their last preliminary game against Germany.
And David Wagner will play Ahmet Kaplan in quad singles of wheelchair tennis. And that will do it for this episode. Thank you to our researcher, Elizabeth Emery.
And you can get in touch with us on X, YouTube, and Instagram at FlameAlivePod. Send us an email at flamealivepod@gmail.com. Call or text us at 208-352-6348. That's 208-FLAME-IT. Chat with us and other fans on our Facebook group, Keep the Flame Alive Podcast. And to get our special daily Games Time newsletter, sign up at our website, flamealivepod.com.
After this, we've got some mixed zone tape. We will have Samantha Bosco, and then will be Matt Stutzman, and then Lora Webster. I don't think any of us put names in front of them when we taped. So that will be the order of play for those. So just you keep in mind. There will be, for the ones I was in, for Matt Stutzman, there's going to be another reporter there as well. So you'll get a little bit of questions from two people there, but some really fun insight. It was really fun to meet Lora in person.
She's great, isn't she?
She's lovely. Got a nice hug. So it was a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoy the audio, and join us again tomorrow for more action from Paris. Please tell your friends about the show, especially if they're getting into the Paralympics, and hang out with us in our Facebook group because it is hopping. Thank you so much for listening, and until tomorrow.
I'm so glad
glad. We wanted to say congratulations, and I know you're upset.
Yeah, it's hard not to be upset.
Yeah, we wanted to say hello and just say whatever. I don't even want to ask you a question. I just want you to talk a little bit.
I don't know. I'm a little lost for words. Today wasn't necessarily a target race for me coming in, but you're here. You can do all the races you want. I thought I had a chance, and I thought I had a good chance. There are a lot of strong girls here, and they brought their A game, and they just had better legs on the day than I did. So just looking forward to the next couple and a chance of redemption, a chance of going for the races that I targeted.
How are you feeling overall just this week?
Oh my gosh, the whole gambit of emotions. I started super excited. Actually, that's kind of a lie. I was excited when Donald the Duck, I call him Donald the Duck because of my nephew, shout out to Reed. He congratulated me on getting to be selected for the team. So that was when it first felt real, and it was really exciting, and it was like a big excitement moment. And then getting on the last plane here, I had all the emotions of relief and tears of joy, because here I am, like, I'm getting on that plane. Finally, it's been a few years later, but I'm on that plane. And then I get to the village, and it's just cloud 12, I guess, because everything, just all of the little things, all of the big things were so much more significant. And it was so fun. And yesterday was kind of just like a day to get the jitters out, and it was bigger than I anticipated it being. Today was kind of the same. I had good legs going in. I was less than a second from personal best on the track, so I'm happy with my performances. Bummed that I didn't get on the podium, but couldn't have lost the podium to better women in the field. I love every single one of them. They're amazing, and I'm so proud of them and so excited for them. But I'm coming for them on the next one.
Well, we're so proud of you, and we're so happy to have you on our team. So, road is next.
Yes.
What does it look like for the next few days for you?
All in for the time trial. That's the next race. That's my baby. I'm all in. I've been all in since 2021 for this time trial. So it's the biggest race of the games for me. I got my parents here, my husband here, my really good friends who became family. She's even my California mom. They're here. My brother's watching because he couldn't be here. My extended family's watching. My in-laws, my sister-in-laws, my brother-in-law. I'm just so full of joy just to be here and to be racing. Medals aside, life's amazing.
And we're cheering.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Brian with Team USA.
Hello, Brian.
Hello, man. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Nice to watch you succeed. How did it go? How would you assess the round early on, but taking care of what you need to do?
Yeah. I actually, I'm just going to be honest and candid and everything. When I went out, I got very emotional. I was trying not to cry because I saw my family. I was like, but it worked out that I was able to start off strong. And then the guy, Victor, he's going to be the future of the sport. Of course, I had to remind him that I still am better than him right now. But honestly, the future of the sport with armless archers is going to go well above and beyond what I've started. And to me, that's my gold medal. And just being here, having my family watch me underneath this awesome venue and the Eiffel Tower, just everything, whatever happens from here on out, I'm satisfied, and of course I'll still do my best, right? But I'm happy and satisfied. And they took me in there, and I got to meet Jackie Chan.
We heard. Tell us about how'd that go.
He's a hero of mine. I've watched all his movies and stuff like that, and apparently he knew that, so he wanted to come watch me specifically. And I didn't know that, so I walked in and he's like, "Hey!" and he gave me a hug. Oh! I felt so starstruck. I didn't even know what to say. I was like, it was so, I don't know. I don't know how you really top today, except for winning a gold medal. But like I said, I feel like a gold medal has been won in my heart already. So.
Did you spar at all with Jackie?
He would definitely beat me, but he picked up my bow and he's like, "Whoa, it's so heavy. You hold this with your legs." And I said, "That's why I have to hold it. It's so heavy, I have to hold it with my legs." But one thing I do want to say is that the history of what people watch today. I don't know if you guys know this, but this is the first time two armless people have competed at a Paralympics head-to-head before. That was a very first. Wow. That was the very first time this has ever happened in the history of the sport. So I knew it was a historic moment going out there, and of course I wouldn't be on the winning end of it. But just the history of the fact that no one imagined armless people competing with armed people in archery, and yet here we have amazing happen, and I think that was awesome.
How many?
I think that was amazing.
Sorry, I don't know how many in total at the high elite level are armless.
Right now, there's actually 5.
Okay.
One guy is from Russia, but he didn't come to the games, but he was very good.
Yeah.
But here at this games, we have 4. And last games was just me and a guy from Belgium, so it's 2.
Okay.
So every games we double. So, and based on the people that we're working with now and all that kind of stuff, I bet you in LA we have probably closer to 7.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, that's in an ideal world. Like if you could have 20 armless people all shooting against armed people, that would be pretty awesome, right?
Let the best win.
Exactly. But anyway.
Yeah, less important question now after all that amazing info you just shared. Is it a little tougher shooting in the range? Things slip?
Yeah.
Things move? Is it a little more challenging?
If you notice on that last shot, as soon as I shot, I knew what had happened. I was just like, oh, like I didn't even, no one needed to even tell me what had happened.
Yeah.
But one of the issues that people with shooting with their feet run into is that we can't like grip the bow like people with hands. So when our feet get wet, it's harder to keep kind of grip of the bow and keep it as steady. Like it kind of wants to slip a little bit here and there. So, but I mean, it was good enough for me to win today, and I'll take that. Hats off to Victor. He did good for his first ever games.
Okay.
I told him at the end when I hugged him and I had him wave at my family, I said, "You'll be the next champion." And so I hope he understood what I was saying.
Nice, good.
How does do you prefer rain and not? You didn't have much wind, it seemed like, versus.
No, most of my arrows, if I miss, were up and down. I had one to the left, and then the last one doesn't count because I already knew what happened there. But I prefer rain over wind. It's I'm an Iowa boy and we have rain a lot, so it really, when I was practicing and it was raining out, I just knew it's gonna be a good day for me.
Take advantage of what you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's kept you going for so long, right? Your 4th Paralympics, the silver all the way back in London 2012. What's kept you going and motivated and competing at such a high level?
My family
Yeah.
is still the main focus, still the main motivation for me. When I told my kids that if I made the team to come to Paris, I'd bring them along. And then when I did well in trials and found out I had won my spot, I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. Jessica's going to have 10 people that she has to, who have never flown before, on a plane leaving the country for the first time, and I don't get to help her with it. I feel so bad for her. But they're still my motivation even today. And I think that's why I try to fight back the tears when they introduced me, because of how special this moment is. And most likely it'll be the last time I get to do this. So.
Your kids, just tell me briefly their names and ages here today.
Yeah, so between Jessica and I, our family, we have 5 boys. Okay. Caleb is 21, Carter is 18, Cameron is 17, Kaysen is 12, and Alexander is also 12. They were born like 2 days apart.
Wow.
Yeah.
5 boys?
5 boys.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So she is, reminds me every day about how we should have had a girl, but hey, you know what? It happens. I can't control that. So, anyway, it's.
Yeah. Well, I think your This gentleman was telling me that, you maybe could have shot a little bit better in prelims, but, you have your 19 seed. But continuing on that, what will it take to move forward strong and give yourself a chance at a medal, potentially gold here?
Yeah, so here's the cool thing. So I actually had equipment issues with my release during the first half of elimination or qualifications. Yeah. Had a bunch of dirt in it, and the more I pulled, the more it would shoot left, and we figured it out. But now the rules are there's no equipment malfunction. So if you have an equipment issue, they just keep shooting, and if you don't shoot, then you get zeros. Yeah. So for me, I just had to struggle through it until half, which is they give you 15 minutes to go to the bathroom, and I fixed it, cleaned it all back up, got it working good, and then had a good strong second half. And I remember telling myself, like, they're going to be in for a treat in elimination day, because I started rolling good again, and I was like, the release is working good, and I'm confident again. And ironically, the last time my release broke was in 2022, and where I went into eliminations basically in last place and won the whole event to become a world champion. So I'm okay.
Still feels like home?
Still feels like home. Absolutely. Yeah. It's everything I've been dreaming and practicing and mentalizing for the last 8 months, 9 months.
Does the other hobby, the drag racing, help you balance out and give you some variety and keep the mind not just on one thing to focus on?
This takes such a mental focus. It's good to have something that you do that you forget completely about archery. So for me, it helps quite a bit. Plus, it's an adrenaline thing, so I can have adrenaline while I'm racing, and then if I get my bow and shoot right after, then I'm learning how to control adrenaline, because out there you get it no matter what. And how do you practice that at home? So that's one of the ways that I practice kind of with adrenaline.
What kind of cars are you racing?
I race a drag car. It's called I call it Jigsaw. It's a '68 Camaro. It's what we call a Pro Mod chassis, 200 horsepower, 0 to 60 under a second, and it has the potential. I haven't done it yet this year, but 201 miles per hour in about 6.5 seconds. So, and it's weirdly now I'm the only guy without arms that does that too.
So stupid question.
No stupid.
All the shifting with feet. How?
Yeah, I do my feet. I drive with my feet. I do it all. I activate the parachutes and everything. What's cool about drag racing is that everybody I compete against have no disabilities. So I'm literally racing against the best of the world and the best of what they do, and I love that challenge. And that's what pushes me, when it comes to that stuff, because I want to just be the best. I don't want to be the best armless guy. I want to be the best in the world.
This post archery career endeavor that will keep you fulfilled and keep at it, you think?
Absolutely. I got drag racing is taking off. I'm getting a lot of sponsors and things like that, and I'm doing well at it, so that's definitely my future. Also, I'm going to kind of dabble in making parts and releases and stuff like that for the archery community, solely, specifically, focused on armless people. So maybe some custom chairs, a better release system, because nobody's really doing that. So I kind of have to do it myself. And, that's kind of my focus after I retire.
Forsberg is next. What are you looking forward to?
Oh, I don't know who I was facing. So.
Oh, okay. It doesn't matter to you?
None of it matters to me. I'm here to have a good time, and one arrow at a time, and whatever it is what it is. So. Yeah,
enjoy.
That's my mindset.
Sorry, I was chatting with KJ. So Jackie Chan, what was that? What was that meeting?
1 second. Hey, Coach, are you coming back? All my stuff is still in there. I haven't been able to.
Really?
Yeah. What? Can you just look? I need. Can I make this fast? So I can go with you guys? Give me. I got my whole family waiting on me. I can't take too much more time.
I can carry mine, but he can carry yours and he can carry your stool.
Alright, I just need one person. So if you can give the bow to KJ, you just wait one more minute. Jackie Chan was awesome. Craig Spence from the IPC had sent me a message yesterday. He goes, "Dude, what would you do if Jackie Chan watched you shoot?" And I was like, yeah, whatever. Jackie Chan ain't gonna come watch me shoot. And sure enough, Coach. Hold on, ready? So, come on in here. Come in here.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So him and I, we have a little shake and a handshake. Anyway, as soon as I win, we come off stage, and I get World Archer's like, "Come with me, Jackie Chan wants to meet you guys." It was legit. We walk in, and I'm like, "Oh," and he just starts hugging on me, and like, it was crazy. I didn't even know what to say. Like, he's been a guy, I watch all his movies. I watched him ever since I was little, and he's like, "I come to just watch you." And I'm like, oh my, like mind blown. Like someone who has that persona around him, or that aura, they're motivated by me. Like I'm motivated by him, and he's a superstar, and yet here he is looking at what I'm doing and is motivated by it. So as long as he doesn't make any movies that have an armless archer, unless I'm the arm,
new opportunity.
There we go.
You won't need a stunt double with your.
Yeah, I could be my own stunt double.
Well,
but
I was just saying, you're in your. I know you're retiring from the Paralympics, but you're in your element.
I am.
You're stamping your feet when you got, the 5 10s in a row and playing to the crowd and Jackie Chan and
yeah.
How can you walk away from it?
I know. So here's the thing: is I was noticing I was the only one having fun out there. Everybody looked pretty focused.
Yeah.
The only way you shoot good is if you're having fun. And I know that some people could take it as not focused, but we worked for 4 years to be here. You need to have fun, because if you're not having fun, then why are you like? You know what I mean? Like, fun is huge. Like, you have to smile and laugh, and laughing relaxes you. People don't understand that. So anyway,
Matt says he's retiring, but I keep telling him that he gets a break, but we're not going to retire just yet. We're going to go a little bit, maybe through LA, maybe a little longer.
He's twisting my arm, but I might slowly be listening.
And just finally, Matt, to be shooting in front of the family, how key was that? How important was that?
That was the most important thing I've probably ever done in my career. Just having them in the stands. Like I said, I was trying not to cry when they introduced me, because I knew how important it was and how awesome it was, and I'll never have an experience like that again. So it will always forever be the most important thing in my life this year.
Hi, Jill from Keep the Flame Alive.
Hi, yes, hi. I saw.
You saw Alison.
Alison, thank you.
So
I was
excited.
Yes. How are you? Sorry.
Good. No, that's
it's
okay.
different to see you in a different context.
I know exactly. And oh my gosh, you were not going to lose that last game on that one spike you had.
Oh.
Just the intensity up in the press tribune, we could feel it.
I'm happy that you could feel it up there. We needed it.
How is it to get your big rival first and then out of the way?
I love it. I think there's no better way. This team thrives on competition. I love, in our practices, I'm always the one that's like, let's do our free ball drills, because they're the fastest and they push us, and we have no time to recover, and so it's just nothing but back-to-back constant movement, and I love that energy. So playing against a team that we know so well and that we love to compete against is great, because there's no hanging over us. We get it done, we know that we have to compete, and now they're behind us, and now we get to focus on the next games instead of always keeping an eye out for them. So we get to, it's done, there's no anxiety over it anymore, and it's a great game to start with, simply because you get all the nerves out, and it's the highest level of nerves, to play a competitor like that. So I'm really happy that we started that way, and I'm really happy that it's behind us. And now we can settle down and then move on to practice tomorrow and work on what we need to work on.
When you have those amazingly long rallies, how do you maintain the momentum or the focus? Because there were some really long ones.
There were, yeah.
Is that typical, or is that special too?
With teams like this, yes. Okay. When you have teams that can play defense and that can block and cover and have everything, have all of the skills, then yes. And those rallies are just so much fun. They're not fun to lose because you put everything in, but we're used to those rallies, because when we train against each other, we have rallies like that all the time. We just had one a couple days ago that USA Volleyball posted that had it just, I don't even know what the time was, but it was just constant. And that's what we love, and everybody just falls down exhausted at the end of it. But that's what really pushes you. And you finish those rallies going, okay, let's do it again. Let's get the next one. And so those rallies are great because they're just fun. I mean, you don't play this sport because you don't like to compete. That's why we're here. That's the bread and butter pleasure of being a competitor is those rallies that make you feel like you can't give any more, but then you get it, and it's fulfilling. It's really just the best.
There felt a momentum shift from game 1 to like mid-game 2.
You can feel that too?
Yeah. And then it started to come back. How is that when you feel it go away? When you're getting it, like there's never like, oh, we flip this switch and it comes back. There's
one point at a time.
Yeah.
Those ones are really tough because it's nothing tangible. I was talking to my teammates because I don't play back row, so when I came out I was like, what feels different? Because you can't pinpoint it. It's not any one person. It's just a feeling. And like, we all hate that feeling because there's times where you're like, I don't know what to do. Like, because it's not like, hey, our passes are bad. No, it's sometimes the pass is bad, sometimes the set isn't there, sometimes the hit isn't there. So it's like every aspect of the game is going wrong at different points and they just back to back. So I think that really speaks to the mental tenacity of our team because we did come back and we almost won that fourth set, yes. And so that's the grit that we pride ourselves on because we really don't quit. And finishing a 4-set match like that, the way that we finished, it's like, man, I just wish we had 3 more points, you know? And so the yuck is the stuff that we have to work on. And that is solely on our side of the court, which is a great place to be because we can fix that side. You know, China played a great game. We love pushing them to play their best because we know our best is better than theirs. And so walking out of a game like that, we know that it's in our control. And that's not cockiness, it's just confidence. It's confidence in my team. We train so hard. And not that the other teams don't, because I know that they do. We know that we have a big target on our back, but we really are committed and we don't take any match lightly. And so knowing that we can make the steps to improve, it's just all internal. It's all the 12 of us, and we'll do it together.
Last bit.
Yeah.
Do you hear the monster blocks?
Absolutely.
Do you hit a block or an ace and you're like, that's going to be a monster block?
Blocking is where I feel like my value is to my team. I don't always get, middles are always the toughest set for the setter to make just because of the flow of the game. And with sitting volleyball, we've got even less room to move around. And so I feel like my value to my team is really blocking, which stinks because there are games where they avoid me. And it's like, I looked at Katie and I was like, can I please at least get give me a half of it? Like, please, come on. So but it's, those blocks, it just brings just all of the energy. And it's those kind of plays that can really, seeing your teammate just stuff them. And there was one that it went off her head and it's just it's the momentum shift and it's that energy, and that's what I love. We were down by 7 when I had a block, and the whole team was acting like we were up by 20. And so it's that that digging in for that energy is what our team is about, and that's the joy that we have. And so it's fun to, even when we're losing, we still act like we're winning, and when we're winning, we often play like we're losing. It's just we're still digging deep and always just waiting for the net, So we're all over the place, but we're doing it together. Excellent. Which is a great place to be.
All right. Great. Thank you so much.
It was
Appreciate
so good to see
you. You're welcome. We're so happy to be here for you.
Oh,